Diddy has this undying need for attention. He has this undying need for validation. He wants to be the man. That has always been his thing. And he's always wanted power. And in addition to that, they also kind of one thing that they allude to a little bit more in this documentary that they didn't do in the HBO documentary is the fact that Sean Combs, Diddy, he has this thing where he just has to play with fire when it comes to other people's women. So they start off talking about how Al B. Sure, if you're young, you probably have no clue who that is, but he was a popular singer back in the late 80s, early 90s. He was going with Kim Porter, who, as we all know at this point, ultimately became one of P. Diddy's baby mamas. But at that point, they were together. And even though she was with Al B. Sure at that time, and she was the receptionist, I want to say, at Uptown Records, Diddy just, he couldn't help himself. He constantly flirted with her. He constantly tried to, make passes at her, advances towards her, even though everybody in the building knew that that's Al B. Sure's girl, man. Like, what are you doing? And this is the A&R and Protege. He just guy trying to work his way up in a record label. He's doing all of this wild shit. And that just once again goes to the mentality, and it kind of builds a foundation to let you know this is how this guy operates. He has really no morality. He doesn't give a fuck. He's just going for his. So that was important that they laid that foundation and they told the story from there. And from that point forward, they talk about how he ultimately got fired from Uptown Records. I feel like I'm skipping all over. So obviously I can't tell you the whole thing. You're going to have to go watch it yourself. But I will say that it was extremely compelling. This was a well-done documentary. 4 episodes, not a very long watch. I mean, you're going to be glued to your seats when you're watching this thing too, I will say. Very entertaining. But before I even get into more of the review as far as what they broke down, the overwhelming theme of this entire documentary, and this does not have to, the thing about it is that when I say it was objectively displayed, they didn't really have to do any hit piece on Diddy. The thing is, this guy operated in such an immoral way, and he carried himself as such a scumbag in so many of his dealings in business and personal relationships. You don't have to make a hit piece about Diddy. This shit just sells itself. He as a human being was just deplorable in many ways. So they didn't even have to try to make this a hit piece. 50 didn't have to try to make it a salacious hit piece towards Sean Combs, because so many of the things that he did and that so many people are giving their personal accounts of, it clearly puts him in a certain light, and it lets you know exactly what kind of human being he is and was in all of those times. So, they talked about, obviously, that's what I was going to say. Getting back to the overwhelming theme of this entire documentary, it just shows you that P. Diddy, he has a proclivity for violence. And more importantly, he has a proclivity for sexual assault and abuse towards women. That's one thing that is just a constant here. Like, when it comes to women, not only did he objectify them, right? But he had this sickness where he just has to exert his will upon them, regardless of if they were interested or not. There was several different cases, several different accounts, several different allegations, different women saying that he raped them, did all kinds of sexual assault. It starts off with a woman, and these are women that he was operating in business with, not even like his artists, different women that he just happened to rub shoulders with along the way in his career that he ended up sexually assaulting. And that's an overwhelming theme. Another overwhelming thing as you continue to digest all of this content and material about his life is the fact that this guy he has no moral compass whatsoever. Can't stop, won't stop. Even though that ironically was his slogan, his saying, that applied to his belief towards just doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do in life, regardless of who it hurt, who it impacted, whose life it ruined. He didn't give a fuck.